I'm Bill Cirone, Santa Barbara County Superintendent of Schools, and I'm pleased to introduce my guest today, Susan Salcido, the Deputy Superintendent of the Santa Barbara County Education Office, who, upon my retirement on July 1, will become the new County Superintendent of Schools. Congratulations and welcome, Susan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Susan, I was thrilled when the County Board cited your experience, your passion, your vision, and your extensive leadership skills. And first of all, how did it feel?
Incredible. I am excited about what will happen beginning July 1st. The moment they appointed me as County Superintendent, I have to say I was so proud, so humbled, and really excited.
Much to be proud of, and we're going to share with our viewers today. It's going to be kind of like this is your life. We're going to go back to the very beginning as a way to introduce you to the community in a much broader way and talk about the path that you've traveled. So going back to the very, very beginning, where did you grow up? Well, tell us about those early years.
All right, I'd be glad to. I grew up in Santa Maria, and I'm really proud of having grown up there because it's such a wonderful community. It was a small town then, and it has still a small town feeling now, but it's grown a lot. I grew up there in Santa Maria, attended Adam Elementary School, El Camino Junior High School, and then attended Santa Maria High School before our family moved down to Orange County. So growing up in Santa Maria was a wonderful time, place, and community. I'm really proud to be from our community of Santa Maria.
So we have a picture that we want to share as was part of those early years. So we're flashing that up on the screen. And why don't you talk to us about that picture? Tell us where, what grade, all of the good details.
All right. Well, first of all, I have to say that's a picture that my mother loves to share. So I think that's where you probably got that from the wall in a bedroom in their house. But that picture comes from first grade. I was 6 years old. I was an Adam Elementary School student. I have an older sister. She was also attending Adam Elementary School. When I was a student there, I was on student body, the Student Body Council, and I remember being part of the group that was able to name the new mascot. So it's the Adam Angels. We named it when I was, I think, in first grade, and it's still Adam Angels today, so I'm quite proud of that.
Well, and then you recently, with the current superintendent, Luke Ontiveros, who's also homegrown to the Santa Maria area, visit a school together that brought back similar memories for both of you?
We did. Well, first of all, I want to say Luke Ontiveros, he's incredible. Superintendent of Santa Maria Bonita Schools. Ontiveros is a name that's well known in Santa Maria. In fact, there's a school named after Ontiveros. So the fact that we got to tour schools together was really, really a great day for me. We ended up going to Adam Elementary School that day, and it's a school he attended, it's a school I attended, albeit different times, and we walked around with Principal Lori Grack, and there were a couple of very special moments that day. One was that there was a student council elections going on, so we were able to see students pitching for wanting to be president and vice president. It was very, very special. Their parents came out too. We'll never forget that for sure. The other moment is we were walking down the hallway, and I stopped and I said, you know, I remember something. I hadn't thought about it for all those years, and I shared it with both the principal and Luke Ontiveros, which was that years and years ago, maybe I was in 4th grade, 5th grade, there was an Arbor Day. We were celebrating Arbor Day there at Adam Elementary School, and part of the celebration was to plant a tree. But before planting the tree, we planted a time capsule. So somewhere there at Adam Elementary School is a time capsule from the late 70s or early 80s, and someone somewhere is going to dig that up and find evidence of us being little kids at Adam Elementary School then. So it was a really special day, and it was great to be there with Luke Ontiveros.
And then you went on actually to graduate, as I recall, not as I recall, as you've told me, El Camino Junior High School, and that was about 30 years ago, this spring. So when you really think of it, 30 years ago this spring, you were getting ready to graduate the El Camino Junior High School, and 30 years later, or this spring, you're getting ready to assume the superintendency, and that's quite a transition in a short period of time. So let's continue with the rest of the story.
Okay.
So then where did you go to college?
I went to college at UC Santa Barbara and did my undergraduate there and continued on and got my teaching credential and master's degree there.
And what did you major in?
I majored in English.
Did you always know you wanted to be a teacher?
I think I did know, but I'll tell you the moment I knew. I was graduating UC Santa Barbara as an English major, and I really didn't have a lot of career education in terms of what I wanted to do before that. I just knew that I loved literature, poetry, communication, the language. And I was graduating and I thought, well, boy, what is it that I'm going to do with that major? I was walking around campus and I saw posted around campus the applications available for the teaching credential program. And it struck me. And I think I remember at that time rolling back in my head, realizing I've always wanted to be a teacher, but it took that moment to take me back. And so when I think about that, I'm really appreciative. I again, enrolled there at UC Santa Barbara. It was an excellent education for educators. But yes, I think I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher, but it took a moment to get me there.
Part of the homegrown experience from elementary right through to college. How about your first teaching position?
My first teaching position was at Dos Pueblos High School, and I taught 9th grade through 12th grade, all different levels, all different grades. It was a wonderful beginning.
Well, tell us about your teaching years, your philosophy of teaching, your style of teaching. Perhaps if we were to walk into your classroom based on that philosophy, what might we see? What might we have seen?
Okay. So I think I've always, thought about teaching the content beyond teaching the content. It was more than teaching English or novels or the poems or the biographies, even though that was really important. I really wanted to connect what is it that we're doing today with this content that's going to help a student when they graduate to have a career, go to college. So yes, we talked about British Lit and American Lit and poems and all of that, and had a lot of fun with it, but it was really the arc of thinking about their futures. And so what we did in classrooms, if you were to walk in, and I feel like there were a lot of people walking in all the time. At that time, administrators, and still now, administrators would commonly come through, or parents or teachers also. And any time, I feel like we would be engaged in dialogue. There would be partners talking with partners, student partners. We'd be working on hands-on projects. We would be really engaged. It would be very lively, hopefully a lot of laughter, lots of participation, maybe at times chaotic, but a good chaotic, I think, really in looking at the future for how they could apply that for a profession or in college, which is collaborating, thinking through, being able to articulate their ideas and reasons for responding in the way they do.
Susan, we know that teachers often touch the lives of their students in many ways, but we often hear that the reverse is often true, that students touch the life of their teachers, sometimes in very profound ways. Was that the case for you?
I think about the students I had in my classrooms. First of all, I think about them individually often. I also think about them collectively, what they have taught me and how they impacted me now, even then. And I think what I think back in terms of the students is that all of the students came to school with an eagerness for something. It could be eagerness to learn the content. It could be eagerness to socialize. It could be eagerness to, just do well and be inspired. So for me, when I think about that eagerness of students when they come to school and into my classrooms, I think, what do I need to do in order to inspire and ignite? So for me, it was about they were deserving of me preparing well. And I think that that's carried on for all this time. I feel like it's really important to prepare well for learning to happen, to ignite that eagerness, whatever it might be, to inspire. And I've carried that with me all these years.
For you, what was the best part of teaching?
Connecting with the students, the incredible relationships, seeing a spark in them, I still see students today, and actually with other teachers too. I mean, there's really, I feel, no better profession, really. We have teachers who care, who come to school every day to help, and we had a lot of fun.
So how did you make the transition to administration, and what was your first administrative job?
So I was teaching at Dos Pueblos, and I have to say, Bill, that every position I've had, I've thought I was going to have for the rest of my life. I really thought I would be a teacher forever. And so I didn't have an intention of moving anywhere or doing anything different, but like many administrators, someone tapped me on the shoulder to say, why not consider administration? And that person was Mike Couch. He was the principal of Dos Pueblos. He came to my classroom, and I think might have literally tapped me on the shoulder and said, I think this is something I'd like for you to consider. So I did. I thought, let's give it a try. Let me continue the learning. So I went to school, got my administrative credential. The day I finished, the day I graduated, I received a phone call from then Superintendent Debbie Flores, who said, I'd like for you to meet with some administrators at San Marcos High School. They're looking for an assistant principal, and I'd like for you to go and talk with them. So I said, okay. So I went and talked with Paul Circa, principal at the time, and Mo Clayton, assistant principal, who would later become principal. We were having dialogue around a table, and at the end of that meeting, they took out their hand and shook my hand and said, shook my hand and said, congratulations, you're the next assistant principal of San Marcos High School. I thought, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize I was in an interview that day. But I actually, a little known fact, I contacted a friend of mine who was taking over my classroom at Dos Pueblos after I announced I would be leaving, and I packed up all of my lesson plans and asked her to keep them because I said, I might be back sooner than you think, you know. So some of those lesson plans are still there. But anyway, I began as an assistant principal at San Marcos High School and had a wonderful, wonderful experience there. I really enjoyed it, and again, thought I'd be there forever.
And what was your style of administration? We talked about your style of teaching. Mm-hmm. What was your approach to administration?
My approach to administration was that I really felt it was my job to provide an environment that would help students and teachers do their jobs really well, and provide an environment that would allow parents in the community to engage. So for me, it was clearing away obstacles, finding ways for connections. It was letting the experts, the teachers, do their work and finding ways to support them. So that was one way. Another philosophy of administration was to collaborate with others, to really partner with other people. It's not something we should do on our own. And to listen and get input as far as moving forward and supporting the students, the teachers, the parents, and the community.
And on the way to the Santa Barbara County Education Office, you did make another stop along the way at Santa Barbara Junior High?
Yes, I did.
As?
Principal of Santa Barbara Junior High. I'm very, very proud of having been the principal. I followed Jerry Fawcett, who was an incredible leader. John Becchio is the principal after me, and now Lito Garcia, who's principal now, and the state superintendent of public instruction just announced that Santa Barbara Junior High is a gold ribbon school and a Title I achieving school, and I'm really proud of the school, of the teachers and the students and the community. It's an incredible place. It's majestic, it's historic, it's a landmark, so you feel the importance just being on the campus, but more than the physical space, it's really what happens inside. And there are incredible teachers committed to supporting students. It's an incredible place. So yes, I stopped there.
So tell us about the Santa Barbara County Education Office and how you landed there.
Okay, so I was principal of Santa Barbara Junior High School. Yeah. Again, as I said, I really thought I would stay forever, and I intended to, but I received a phone call. I received a phone call from the Assistant Superintendent for Instructional Services, who asked if I would consider coming over to the county office and working as a director of secondary support services. And the reason it seemed interesting to me at the time, and it is now, and that's why I'm still at the county office and hope to be there for a lifetime really, is it broadened my perspective of education in our county. I had been in one district, and it was an excellent district, but to go to the county office and work with 20 districts and many administrators and teachers and students countywide was really intriguing. So I met with her, Carol Johansson, who then I met with you, Bill, as for a final interview, and then started my career at the County Education Office.
And from there, you moved through several positions, moved on to become Deputy Superintendent. What are your responsibilities as Deputy?
My responsibilities, first of all, it's an incredible job. I'm so pleased and fortunate to have it and have had it. I work with all of our divisions that directly support students and teachers in the county. So I oversee all of the operations, the staff, all of the internal operations, but I also work externally. So I have a pleasure of working with our 20 school districts, superintendents, administrators, students throughout the county, and also work in the community with our partners. And I'm out in meetings and presenting out in the community. So it's both an internal and external opportunity all around the county.
And you had talked about part of the position is also to work, as you pointed out, externally with the community at large and build partnerships and bring them in. That work was recognized actually by the Santa Barbara Foundation, where they too tapped you on the shoulder and said, would you like to be part of a very small group called the Katherine Harvey Fellow? That in effect they're young emerging leaders that they train in the areas of philanthropy and nonprofit work in the community. You said yes. Tell us about that training and experience.
Being part of the Katherine Harvey Fellows was really a great learning experience in so many different ways. One of the ways is because, first of all, the people that they tapped on shoulders happened to be emerging leaders in the community, but from different sectors. So it wasn't just education, which I'm very comfortable with the education sector, but was also around other nonprofits, medical field, universities, different walks, realtors. It was just a really interesting group of emerging leaders throughout the community, all wanting to serve the community well through philanthropy. So that was one aspect I thought was really interesting. Another one was learning that philanthropy is more than providing dollars to a goal. It's really thinking through a vision and values in a community and what services need to be provided. So I thought it was a really great learning opportunity. And the third one of many others is that I got to know the Santa Barbara Foundation better and more deeply. And it was an incredible organization that really serves the community well.
And another area of leadership training, you're working on your doctorate at USC. Won't comment about that. But tell us about your focus area and that whole experience.
So I am working on my doctorate now at USC, and I'm just, it's almost like the Katherine Harvey Fellows in that it's about the people who are in the program on top of the learning that I'm getting and learning that I'm doing in the program as well. The group that is part of this program, they're from different walks of life, nonprofits, for-profits, and educators, and we're all looking at organizational change and leadership. And equity is really important too. So part of the benefit is the networking with incredible people and teachers and professors, but also the cohort members, but also the learning around really important organizational change and equity for students.
And also in recognition of the work you're doing and your leadership in the field, the State Board of Education actually recognized you in a very unique way by appointing you to be part of a very small group statewide that is actually designed to advise them on the school reform that they're engaged in. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is really a unique opportunity. It is an advisory board to the State Board of Education. The group is known as CPAG, which stands for the California Practitioners Advisory Group. And what that means is that it's comprised of about 15 people from around California with different roles and responsibilities and connections to education. So you have representatives of K-12 education, of colleges and universities, and importantly, classified staff, parents, all walks of life in terms of wanting to support accountability and how it's moving forward in California. Another thing that I've appreciated about being on this CPAG committee is seeing the commitment on behalf of the state board, the liaisons that they have who are members of the board who also sit on this CPAG are deeply committed to doing the work well and doing it right on behalf of the students and the teachers in California. It's incredible how much they process, how quickly they do it, and how deeply they're engaged.
So, well, let's move forward now in terms of the actual work in the county education office. Tell us in your own words, what's the mission of the county office?
I'm very proud to say that the mission is service and leadership. And I know that every one of us, myself, you, everyone else really believes in that mission and values that mission of serving and leading our districts, our community, our students, and our teachers.
So looking forward, looking in your crystal ball, what's your vision and plans for the county office?
Well, you know, I think it's really important as a county office to be flexible and adapt to all the changing needs in California in our schools and districts. So I know that going forward we need to continue to be innovative and creative and adapt and be flexible. At the same time, I'm really proud of the work that we've done already, and you have led and that I have served for the last 10 years at the county. So we have many, many programs that directly serve students that other entities they're providing their services, we are providing ours. I'm really proud of those. We'll continue to serve students in the arts, in special education, in programs that we are very, very proud of. So we'll continue some of the good work and we'll move forward at the same time.
And you had mentioned the mission is service and leadership. Let's talk about leadership and your leadership.
Okay.
First of all, we've talked about the training, the recognition, but you know, in conversations, particularly among scholars and university folks about leadership, they often debate at length the question of are leaders born or are they made? For you, is leadership intuitive or is it something you've learned along the way?
Well, I want to say a bit of both, but I'm going to lean towards learning along the way because I really think that it's important for anyone, leaders or anyone in any position, to learn from their experiences and improve and get better. So for me, I feel like it's something that I maybe began with in one way, but I've grown and developed and matured along the way.
So do a little introspection and don't be modest. What are the leadership qualities that you feel that have served you well?
Okay, let's see. Some of the leadership qualities that have served me well. There are some foundational ones that I think I'd like to share. One is communication. It's really important not only what to communicate and what format and structure and all of that and frequency, because that's really important too. But I think that listening in terms of communication is as important as speaking and being clear around it too. So there's so many elements around communication that I think are critical to being a really good leader. And you know, clarity of your vision, clarity of where you're going, clarity of your values is so important, and that also is articulated in communication. But listening and getting input is equal, if not more. So that's one definite principle. I'd say another one is having that clear vision, knowing where you want to go, being flexible though. And a third one I think is, of many, but one I really do believe in is not simply surrounding yourself with good people, because that's important too, to have a good staff and really, you know, work hard and work well together. But to me, a quality that's important for leaders is to not just surround themselves with good people, but to really believe in the people that are surrounding them, that they've hired, to, if I can even say, to love them and support them, and to help them grow. They really need to build capacity as leaders themselves. And so those are some of the principles I think.
And
important.
there's so much more I want to cover, but we are beginning to wind down. And I know something we haven't covered that's very important to you is your family. Tell us a little about your family.
I'd love to. Let's see. I'll start with Bard, my husband Bard. He's an incredible husband and father and anchor for our family. He's a teacher, and we couldn't do anything in our family without his leadership. And as I said, he's the anchor, the best person I know. I have 2 children, Nicholas and Samantha. They're a delight. They're fun. They're full of energy. They keep us, I think, young. They keep us engaged, and they're just wonderful children. I'm really blessed to have them. I'll say too that in the family, when I talk about it, I think about Mary Jane, Bard's mother, who lives in town and has helped us from the very beginning. We have friends and family around us who, really do support us. So they're part of family too.
So with such a high intense job, a very strong family and family life, what do you do to find balance? How do you keep going?
I think we both laugh at that one a little bit. I think you're right. It's important to have balance. That is for sure. Yeah. So, in terms of on the small scale, on the daily basis, I get up early each day. I actually meet a friend who lives across the street. We get up in the dark. We take our dogs for a walk, and it's a really nice time to have quiet conversations in the morning. So that's part of it. But the other part is for me anyway, is to plan great events for us as a family, to get out. We live in a community with the mountains and the beaches. So, for us, it's to get out, do things that are engaging family and friends. And kind of a broader and maybe philosophical is to surround yourself with people who are, have like minds, happy, balanced people who are very positive. I think that helps with the balance.
Yeah. We only have about a minute left, but I do want to give you a chance to send a message first to students and then to your colleagues, other educators.
Okay, let's see. I'd say to students. Students and to colleagues. I'll say that the students really are the ones who provide me with a lot of hope for our future. The students they're the spark, and our teachers are too. So for them, I say, really, what can I do for you? That's what I would like to ask, is to say, what can I do to help you succeed, because you're our future. To the community, I'd say, we are so fortunate to be in Santa Barbara County that we will continue to work together, and I look forward to the partnerships to support our education.
Well, that's well said, Susan, and it's just a pleasure to welcome you to this position, and I thank you for being my guest today. The fact that you've taught locally, first of all, you've gone to school locally, both in the early grades through high school, part of high school, back to the university. You've taught locally. You've been an administrator locally. That experience, homegrown, coupled with the values that brings, coupled with the skills, the leadership experience, the passion, the caring for education and kids, really make you the perfect person to lead the county into the future through the changing times that we're sure are ahead of us. So thank you so much. And I'm Bill Cirone, thanking you for joining us and signing off for this edition of Local Leaders.